The PlayStation 5 rumors have been out in full force, and in today's video we're going to be going over a rumor about dev kits being sent out to a lot of different developers, and right now one insider is hearing very positive things about it. And also that points to the question, how is 2019 looking for the PlayStation 4? Well, the first half of game releases is already set in stone, but it looks like the second half is still in flux. We'll take a look at that as well. Speaking of the PlayStation 5, it looks like Quantic Dream, the developers behind Detroit Become Human, a great PS4 exclusive, are now focusing on PlayStation 5 after a massive investment from NetEase, but it also looks like they're going multi-platform, so we'll talk about that. Also, I've talked a lot about the commercial success of Resident Evil 2. It's doing very well, and it looks like the first week shipments for the game are topping 3 million, and that is very impressive. Anthem, of course, did just have its VIP demo. Unfortunately, it did have some network issues, but the actual game itself was pretty good, and now it's going to be opened up to everyone, and BioWare has put out all of the fixes that are coming out with the public beta. Jump Force is due out February 15th, and Japan is getting a very cool special edition, so I want to take a quick look at that. And while Skybound Games is wrapping up Telltale's The Walking Dead the final season, they are considering making more games. They put out a pretty interesting tweet, so I'll take a look at that at the end of this video. First up, we've been talking all about the PlayStation 5. The PlayStation 4 has had a great run since 2013, but at this point, it has now been north of 5 years since it was originally released, and at some point, you have to start thinking about the PlayStation 5. The PS3 had a 7-year life cycle, but at that point, the 7 years began to be way too long for the PS3, and you really saw the diminishing performance by the end. PlayStation 4 is still holding up pretty well, but I think by the end of 2019, early 2020, the clamor for the PS5 is going to be there. Daniel Ahmed, who works at Nico Partners, said something pretty interesting about Sony's future on the Restera forums, and here's what he said. Quote, PS5 dev kits are out there and I've heard positive things about it, but I wouldn't expect any information in the immediate future. He also continued by saying 2019 will be another solid year for the platform due to the large install base, growing network sales, strong third-party software, first-party software, and back catalog. Lineup for the first half of the year is set, but second half is still in flux. Sony has a couple of unannounced games and already existing IP being included in that, with PS4 in mind, but I'm conscious that there have been discussions around making them cross-gen or next-gen titles. In general, most of the focus for Sony's first party is on PS5 right now. It is still too early to talk about next-gen, but I imagine we'll hear some whispers come out of GDC, that is the Game Developers Conference. I really think 2019 is going to be the swan song year for the PlayStation 4. Is it going to be the last year where we see big game releases? No, but I do expect this to be the most packed year of game releases to set off the PlayStation 4 in a good note. So far, what we have announced, we know Days Gone is coming, we know Dreams is coming. Those two have been confirmed for 2019, and outside of that, games like Ghost of Tsushima, The Last of Us Part 2, and Death Stranding are also being rumored for 2019. In the case of Death Stranding, I could see that being pushed into 2020, and at that point, could that be a game that's cross-gen with Ghost of Tsushima? That's a game I don't foresee being released in 2019. It's entirely possible, but I just don't foresee Sony releasing The Last of Us Part 2 and Ghost of Tsushima in the same year, and I do think The Last of Us Part 2 is going to be out this year. So I could very well see Ghost of Tsushima being a next-gen or cross-gen title as well. A lot of it is still in flux, but we'll see how it plays out and we'll keep you guys posted. But it looks like PS5 dev kits are out there to developers, and I do imagine it'll be quite the powerhouse. Hopefully we can finally start pushing some 4K 60 frames per second, but I don't know if that's asking for a bit too much. Moving on from that, the Chinese juggernaut in NetEase has purchased a minority stake in French developer Quantic Dream. Quantic Dream just had tremendous success with Detroit Become Human. Even though I don't think that game was recognized as one of the best games of 2018, I thought the game was rather good, and it did pretty well from a commercial standpoint based on Quantic Dream's other projects and how they've done. And in an interview with Variety, co-CEO Guillaume de Fondemiri confirmed that Quantic Dream is going multi-format going forwards. He specifically said this, quote, "Our objective is to be present on all platforms where there is an audience that can enjoy our experience. We will, of course, continue developing on PlayStation, a platform that we know very well after having worked for it with Sony for 12 years, but we will also be present on all other relevant platforms." So it does look like Quantic Dreams is going the multi-platform route, and their games will be available on a wide variety of different platforms and consoles. That's not necessarily a bad thing if Quantic Dream does want to expand their experiences, because their experiences are so expensive to make, and now they probably have the financial resources with the backing from NetEase I could see why they want their next game to have as many eyeballs as it possibly can, but I do think the relationship with Sony did pay dividends. Just look at how well Detroit Become Human did. Exciting news for Quantic Dream. We still have yet to hear about what they're working on next, but again, with that, we'll keep you guys posted. Moving on from that, Resident Evil 2 has been getting remarkable critical reviews, but it is also receiving massive commercial success. Specifically, Capcom has announced that in the first week of sales, the game has shipped 3 million units. Now, that is shipped, that's not sold through, but retailers wouldn't be asked for these games to be shipped if they didn't plan on selling them, and this is only shipped to retail. You also have to factor in digital sales, and with digital games booming, I think digital sales are going to spike up those sales numbers quite a bit as well. Here's exactly what Capcom said. Quote, Resident Evil 2 garnered mass attention prior to release, being honored with Best of Show in the Game Critics Awards Best of E3 2018 as judged by major game media outlets from around the globe, as well as boasting over 4.7 million downloads for its one-shot demo, propelling sales to 3 million units worldwide in the title's first week. Further, with Resident Evil 7 Biohazard released in January 2017 having now gone on to sell a cumulative 6 million units, Capcom looks to achieve similar long-term sales for Resident Evil 2 as well. Very impressive initial numbers for the Resident Evil 2 remake, and I fully expect that it will outsell Resident Evil 7. Resident Evil 7 had a pretty good amount of traction around it during its January 2017 release, however, it was nowhere near the magnitude of Resident Evil 2. Resident Evil 2 is legitimately one of the biggest games of 2019. I know we're only a couple weeks in, but I really think by the end of the year we're gonna look back at Resident Evil 2 as one of those bigger game releases, and so far the first week sales are proving that. Moving on from that, of course, Anthem has been running its VIP demo, but the demo will be opened up to everyone in the form of a public demo on February 1st, and in the BioWare blog, Chad Robertson, head of live service, listed the bugs they have fixed and looking at addressing for the public demo this weekend. Specifically, he noted entitlement bugs, server performance updates to address much of the rubber banding, fixes for infinite loads, and more being investigated, platform bugs to validate Javelin unlocks, and client and platform login bugs. Generally, Anthem has been received very well from people that have actually been able to play the game. Unfortunately, there have been a litany of bugs, glitches, and network issues that have limited the enjoyment of the VIP demo. Hopefully, they get things ironed out for the public demo because a lot more people are going to be playing this, and you want to make the best impression possible because for a lot of people, they are waiting on playing the public demo to be sold on the final game, and it's imperative that you give them a solid first impression. Let's see if BioWare can deliver come this weekend. Moving on from that, I do quickly want to note that Jump Force is getting a special edition over in Japan, and the bundle for this will be available in Jet Black and Glacier White color options. It comes with a PlayStation 4 cover top that highlights Naruto, Luffy, and Goku. It's pretty cool, and there will be a separate bundle that also includes the PlayStation 4 hardware itself and the game on the cover top. Now, it's not an actual finish on the PlayStation 4, it's just something you put over the PS4. I would have loved if it was a custom designed console in its own right, however, it's still pretty cool. Just wanted to quickly note that, as Jump Force is another game that's been getting quite a bit of attention recently. And lastly, Skybound Games is of course finishing up The Walking Dead the final season, however, they are teasing that they might be working on more Walking Dead games in the future. The Walking Dead Twitter account first put out a tweet saying, quote, super hypothetical question, Walking Dead family, what kind of Walking Dead video game would you love to see get made, asking for a friend? Then Skybound Games responded saying, quote, we're looking for suggestions beyond existing game/series, but they definitely said that they were interested. I think they realized that a lot of gamers have a vested interest into the Walking Dead games, even though Overkill's The Walking Dead wasn't all too great. The Telltale Walking Dead games have always been a fan favorite, and while it seemingly hasn't done commercially well enough to justify Telltale themselves staying around, Skybound Games of course is wrapping up Telltale's The Walking Dead franchise, and that has been received pretty well by gamers across the entirety of its series. If it wasn't received so well, gamers wouldn't have gone up in arms wanting to see it wrapped up. Thankfully, Skybound Games did finish up that, and hopefully Skybound Games puts out more Walking Dead content in the future, but still, at this point, look at it as speculation, but it is something interesting to note. And that's gonna conclude this video. Again, it looks like a lot of dev studios are working on PlayStation 5 titles. They've got dev kits, and 2019 is gonna be a great year for the PlayStation 4, but I do see it being the swan song for the PS4. Quantic Dream is focusing on a PS5 and multi-platform game after a gigantic investment from NetEase. Resident Evil 2 is doing very well commercially. Anthem's public demo kicks off this weekend, and it's gonna come with a lot of fixes. Jump Force is getting a pretty slick special edition on the PS4, and Skybound is teasing more Walking Dead games. Just take that as speculation for now. That's gonna conclude this video. Sound off with all of your thoughts in the comments section down below. Thank you for watching, and goodbye. Hey guys, we hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, make sure to hit the subscribe button, and if you're already subscribed, do us a favor and hit the bell icon. This way you'll be notified whenever we post a new video. That's the best way to keep up with all of our uploads, and we usually try to upload 2 videos a day. And with the bell icon hit, you'll be notified whenever we do upload a video. As always, thanks for watching.